They say land doesn't just feed the body, it feeds the soul. Funny. I never believed that until the day I laid eyes on the rolling pasture at the edge of Willowbend Ridge. The stillness was heavy, like a thick quilt in winter, not silent, not empty, just that deep, bone-settling kind of peace that tells you, you're home. I was 52, fresh out of a messy divorce, my kids grown and gone, all the years of hustle behind me. I'd sold everything back in Houston, left behind my contracting company. My old life came looking for a patch of quiet to call mine. The land had history, belonged to a dairy family for 3 generations until foreclosure took it. When I bought those 48 acres, bare hills, a sagging barn, a spring-fed creek, I thought I was buying solitude. No HOA, no close neighbors, just the slow, patient work of fixing up what time and drought had left behind. You know how it goes, right? The kind of life where you finally exhale, where your biggest worry is whether the creek will hold through summer. And for a while, that's all it was, until one morning, this white SUV with Clearview Estates HOA on the door creeps by my gate. Didn't pay it any mind. Maybe they were lost, maybe chasing a dog, whatever. But the thing about folks like me? We mind our own, expect the same. But the SUV came back, week after week, always slowing by my northeast fence. Sometimes someone would hop out with a clipboard, make notes, pace around. Still, I stayed out of it, should have known better. My ranch puts up to the back of Clearview Estates, all those cookie-cutter lawns and welcome home mailboxes, different world, or so I thought. Title companies swore up and down there were no claims, no easements, nothing. I had my world, they had theirs. But then, late October, after a dry summer, I see these little orange survey flags sprouting along my side of the fence. At first I thought, maybe county business, utilities, erosion checks. But nobody told me, and they never survey private land without notice. I hauled out my old GPS surveyor, used to work civil engineering, so I know my way around property lines. Those flags? Solidly on my side, some a good 6 feet inside my boundary. That night, I went through my old plats, compared every mark. No mistakes. Pure deed land. But a few days later, I catch 3 men up by the ridge, 2 pointing, 1 marking with orange paint. They're all wearing HOA shirts, oak tree logo on the chest. When I ask, they talk about some storm basin extension, act like it's already a done deal. I tell them plain, this is my property. They act surprised, say it's all part of some phase for expansion. Never heard of it. Never saw a permit. I told them to leave, and to their credit, they did, but not before mumbling something about deed overlaps and municipal partnership. That phrase stuck with me, I'll admit. Called the county clerk that night, asked if there were any plans for expansion, anything touching my land. Then, the young clerk says there's nothing. You sure they're not bluffing? Maybe, I said, but I don't bluff. I couldn't sleep, but not from fear. I know the type. Folks used to getting their way, hate being told no, especially by someone who just wants to be left alone. Next week, survey flags triple. They're everywhere, parallel lines marching down the ridge, new codes spray-painted. Then comes a handwritten note, zip-tied to my gate, access needed for environmental assessment. Please coordinate with HOA. I didn't answer, didn't call, just put up 3 big, no trespassing signs and set up a game camera. Waiting. Then, before sunrise that Saturday, I hear diesel engines, now it's a full crew. Backhoe, trailer, hard hats, cones. The backhoe swings through, straight onto my land, starts digging. I stand on my porch, coffee in hand, filming, not saying a word. They expect me to go crazy, storm down the hill, give them an excuse to call the sheriff. I don't. I just document everything. That's how you handle bullies, with evidence, not outbursts. Later, I walk the fence, film every muddy track, every cone, the grass torn up, the same grass I'd spent weeks planting after last year's rains. Supervisor tries to wave, act neighborly. I don't wave back. That's when I spot the clipboard, Clearview Estates, Phase 4 stormwater. The map, a pond, basin, lines bleeding over my property. That night, I email my old friend Ellis, now with the county's environmental board. Is the HOA allowed to grade private land without a permit? Absolutely not, he replies. Send me everything. Adrenaline kicked in. I didn't sleep, but it wasn't dread, just the burning need to act carefully, not angrily. Next morning, I find new survey stakes, even deeper into my land. Bright pink flags, one marked Sway Basin Outlet Number 3. Excavation scheduled 4 days from now. Time to confront them. I drive to the HOA office, the whole setup like a country club ad. The president, Clay Merriman, meets me slick, practice smile, soft hands. I tell him who I am. Ah, yes, we've been meaning to reach out. You reached out with a backhoe, I say. He dances around, talks shared buffer, regional overlays, tries to buy my cooperation, act like it's a favor. I tell him, you're offering to pay for land you're already destroying. He tries to brush it off. It's just dirt, building for the community. I tell him what I want, for them to stay off my land. He stops smiling. That afternoon, I file a trespass complaint with the county, attach every photo, deed, GPS point, drone shot. Ellis calls. This is a slam dunk. Give me 48 hours. 2 days later, county compliance officers are at my gate, orange vests, legal pads, walking the trench. Valerie, the lead, whistles. This goes way beyond legal. Multiple violations, and if not fixed, fines north of 6 figures. I don't celebrate. Not yet. The ground's still bleeding, backhoe leaking oil. But now the HOA knows I'm not bluffing. But they double down, new crew, more equipment, a man in a blazer who looks like he's never touched dirt. They try the old gate, find it locked and posted. The lawyer starts talking statutes and overlays, tries to tell me my pasture isn't active use. I tell him, you think a cow pasture isn't use? You think my regrading to stop runoff isn't use? He tells me to appeal. Already have, I say, phone recording the whole thing. That night, I send a cease and desist, CC the sheriff, Ellis, Valerie, everyone. I won't be caught off guard. Then, 2 days later, I get back from town and find my fence partially dismantled, neatly unscrewed, enough to drive a skid steer through. New trench, trucks pulled back like they're daring me to touch their stuff. I don't. I call Valerie. This is retaliation, she says. 90 minutes later, county vehicles, stop work order taped everywhere. All work to cease, $25,000 a day if not. And just like that, they stop for now. But here comes the paperwork. Notice of disputed boundary, mediation hearing request. Last ditch, desperate legal move. If they stall long enough, they can finish the project, call it critical infrastructure. That's when I call Ellis, and he brings the big guns, overlays, surveyors, historical plats. We find the original pins, rusted, buried, but still there. You've got them dead to rights, he says. I go to the HOA board meeting. Don't like the theater, but sometimes you have to stand in the ring. The meeting's all noise about pet peeves and mailbox colors until they finally address my issue. Clay tries to charm his way out, quotes a compact that was repealed years ago. I show my proof, deeds, drone footage, stop work order, Valerie's report. The board members shift, one whispers to another. I lay out the truth, illegal trenching, destroyed land, fraudulent filings, trespass after a cease and desist. They can't deny it. The secretary says, we need legal counsel before we continue. I tell them, you thought I'd fold. But I've defended ground before, against worse. Bullies in suits or in uniform, they only understand consequences. Meeting adjourned. Soon after, the county holds a hearing. I show up, boots and jacket, armed with binders, maps, deeds, footage, affidavits. The board listens. The verdict: the HOA's guilty, fined $150,000, all work stopped, and a full audit ordered. When I call my daughter that night, she tells me, Dad, you didn't just protect your land. You did it for all of us. I walk the ridge, the flag's gone, the fence whole, feel the weight lift. But it's not over. More residents come forward, more violations exposed. The press runs a front-page story. County launches a bigger investigation. Anonymous tips, resignations, internal emails, all of it unravels. Clay is out, facing charges. The board falls apart. The new president, Naomi Singh, comes to my gate with an honest apology and a plan to fix what was broken. They restore my land, promise transparency, give me every internal record. I tell them, you don't get forgiveness just for stopping the digging, but you earned respect by coming honest. One day, a resident brings back my no trespassing sign, says, it was wrong what we did. I hope it means something. And it does. But the real victory is when I propose the county use those fines for public landowner workshops, so nobody else has to fight alone. They love it. I help design it. Spring comes, the grass grows, the fence holds. The ridge is mine again. I walk it at dusk, hand on the earth, thinking they thought I was just a man with land, but I was a man with memory, law, and will, and now with peace. So let me ask you, where's the line between protecting what's yours and letting community trample over it? Would you have stood your ground or taken the check and stayed silent? Drop your thoughts below. Right or wrong, it's your voice that keeps stories like this alive.